Mike, we did it.
Yes.
We sold the house in a week.
Week's time. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And you know, a lot of people just said that's really good luck, but I think it wasn't just good luck, it was our planning.
Correct. Carolyn and I met, and Carolyn came as a referral to me, and I had also had some other agencies that I investigated and looked online and saw their profiles, and Carolyn's really stuck out with her experience and her work with the Greenwich Realtors and the Greenwich Multiple Listing Service, plus the degree she had in interior decorating and design, plus the fact that she also had renovated houses on her own prior to the being in the real estate industry.
Well, Mike, I appreciate your saying all that, but when I came here and met you, I thought, you know, he's the most amazing homeowner I have ever met. Typically, when I come over to talk about listing a home, one of the first things on the checklist is, do you know your home's condition? Have you had a pre-inspection? Do you know whether your roof is in good repair? I didn't have to ask him anything, because in our walkthrough, he started telling me about how he had put the new roof on, the new chimney, he had put new wood siding out, he had new windows, he had polished all the floors, and he had painted everything in a fresh way. And then he'd done all the environmental things that are usually on the, you know, that important to consider. You're just an amazing person to work with. So I knew when we sat down to talk about whether I could be your listing realtor, I really wanted this listing.
And I felt the same way, that she had the experience and the expertise to carry out the sale of this property. And I had the discussion also with my wife. Well, I had the discussion prior with my wife Alice, and I said, I really like this woman, and she's the owner of the firm. I'm going to get hopefully personal attention, which I did, where if I went with a larger firm, maybe I would get pushed off to a average broker. I've had other real estate dealings before, and that happens. They're more in tune to maybe the larger, expensiver homes in Greenwich, and I didn't feel I would get the service that I received from Carolyn.
We've had a great time working together.
Absolutely.
I consider it a partnership.
Yes.
A partnership. It really is one that we've just shared with, you know what, constantly keeping up to date and setting our plans.
Exactly. We had Carolyn came out, you know, went through a plan from the pricing to the staging to the open house and the photographs, and it was amazing. After I spoke to her on a Thursday, and by Monday morning she was able to come here and had a list compiled of the comparative sales in the neighborhood and how we could price it accordingly, and what the pluses and minuses were on the other houses that were on the market in the price range. So we did come up with it, which I thought was a very fair price with a little room for negotiation. And Carolyn said she was, you know, pricing, we wanted to price it into the market, and we didn't want to hesitate and overprice it and then have it sit, because it's a costly expense, you know, by the month with your insurance, taxes, mortgage, whatever you have. It starts to add up, and then if you go to a certain time in the year, past probably October, then it might linger because of the Thanksgiving holidays. Then you get into the Christmas, then we're going to be looking at 2020 spring market, which we didn't want to do.
Well, that's also the amazing thing about you, Mike. You just, you know, you thought about these things, and you knew that the most important decision we could make was that price.
Exactly.
And so, having studied what was going on around you and in the town, you were really quite on the same page. Let's price it right into the market and put it on with that intention to sell at that number.
Exactly.
And that's what really works.
And Carolyn had, you know, I've had all kinds of opinions from all types of people who said, you know, try and put it on a list it yourself online, and I've forget the sales sites, what are some of the sales sites? You
Oh,
find?
the Zillow and.
Zillow and Buy My House or whatever. But you come to find out Carolyn had all the connections from her friend at the Greenwich, what's the name of that paper? Greenwich
Free Press.
Yeah, Greenwich Free Press.
Mm-hmm.
We had a featured listing. We were lucky to get that. I think it was the second listing that they started with listing homes for sale, and we were able to get that listed. And our date was, we started in the first week of June, our discussion, and our date was to get it on before the 4th of July holiday, because people go away and then they get involved and they're on vacation, they're not thinking about purchasing homes. So Carolyn was able to pull it together, and then we discussed the staging. First we thought we would wait 30 days and see how the market was, and then she called me, we got a change of plans, I think we should stage it now. I went, okay, fine. So we'll stage it. She was able to mobilize the movers she used. Within less than a week's time, we had the movers, the staging in, the photographer come, which was a very excellent photographer that she uses, and he also did the floor plans with the dimensions, so the people would not have any questions if they could fit a furniture or reconfigure something or whatever their needs would be. And
Can I
it's
just
amazing.
mention some of the things you did though for me when I called up once and said, been thinking about your basement, it's really spacious with high ceilings. Do you think you could just paint it all in a light gray?
Sure.
And now picture, Mike, you've really been doing all these things, and you've been working endlessly to make sure this house is ready, and then I added that, and then the next day, 2 days later, it was dry enough to put the staging furniture downstairs too.
Yeah, that was something. So we worked together, very well worked together, and like I say, I worked with other brokers, and this is, I highly rate Carolyn and her firm.
Thank you.
Plus Amy helped her out
Yes.
also at the brokers open
Yes,
house.
my nice team of realtors are
Yeah,
ready to help, and
exactly.
and
It was amazing that when we had the brokers open house, Carolyn had over 30 some odd other brokers show up, and then we had the open house a few days later, and we had a good showing on that. And try and do that on your own and to save a commission, it's never gonna happen, in my opinion.
well, it's kind of exciting when you do it that way, and we plan together, because I don't believe in showing it ahead of time. Mike said I'm on the same page. We are often just on that same page, that same plan, not to talk about the price until we were ready to really multiple list it, and that way we had all the realtors in the whole Greenwich multiple listing realtors were all
Yeah,
bringing their clients or calling or driving by before the open house.
exactly. There are a lot of people driving by. Carolyn said, watch out in front of your house, you see a lot of people driving by at a time and stopping. And sure enough, I'm out there, I don't know, cutting the lawn or something, and there were people looking like, oh, yeah, this house. They have the brochure out or whatever. So she was correct about that.
And I think that you can just see how fun it is to chat. That it really is just, when I called, Mike picked up. If he was doing something within seconds, I was talking with him. We were always together on that, and
Exactly.
I think communication is just so important.
Exactly. I've worked with other firms where you call the broker and then might take 2 days to get back, and then if they need an answer from their, the other side, the buyer's side or the renter's side, it'd take 2 more days, and it just goes on and on. And we were fortunate enough that the purchaser had a nice broker that he was working with, and she worked well.
Yeah, no, that's true, because she was ready to communicate too.
Yeah.
So calling her was, we were always on, knowing where we stood and what was happening.
Sure.
And the interesting thing, which people often say, that first offer is your best one. Well, she was the one who brought the first offer,
Exactly.
and that was the one we accepted. But we talked about accepting that offer. We needed to know that they were pre-approved or had been to their bank, and so that we felt comfortable about that. But then we also said that you do your building inspections right away. We want you to complete them within a week, and this house is in excellent condition, so don't bring me anything to renegotiate that price. I was really, really stern. But sometimes you learn that there's a little give and take. The one item that the building inspector said the pool heater wasn't working. Well, it had been working, but the day of the inspection, it didn't come on for him. And knowing that, Mike and I talked about it, and Mike said, I'm gonna get him a new pool heater.
Exactly. I had two estimates, and then first we were gonna offer them the credit on the heater. And then I thought about it and discussed it with my wife Alice, and I said, it's not a good idea because the person's buying this house is a big investment for them. They don't wanna move in, and the first thing they have to do is hire a contractor to put in a heater, and maybe they're not familiar with it. Rather than do that, we'll have it installed, and when they move in, it'll be operational. So we changed the whatever contract around. We said we'd install the heater, so we had it installed a few weeks ago.
Your complete plan in this is to have this house ready and ready to give to these new people that are going to be here, and you want it to be something that they enjoy as much as you have all these years.
Exactly. My children grew up here and went to the school system here, so we know they're making a good choice. So
You have written so many good things. We put them in our brochure, the list of improvements, the things that you enjoy and so forth.
Yeah.
And so we're just delighted. That's why we're doing our high five. We're
Yeah,
turning this
exactly.
wonderful, beautifully ready to go home, ready for someone else.
Yeah.
Mike, I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. But one thing I would recommend if you're thinking of selling your home, choosing the correct broker, and I would highly recommend Carolyn. But some of the other things, I would do my homework first and see if you have any environmental issues that you could solve prior to it. If you have, you could do it yourself, check with the building department at Town of Greenwich. If you have any permits that are open, that maybe you had work done and they weren't, had the final COs. And, such things as like underground storage tanks or asbestos, maybe you wanna remediate that. You might wanna go to the town and purchase one of the, you could go to the town or get them online or whatever, a radon testing kit and see where your property stands, because in Greenwich, there's a lot of radon. Our particular thing was higher, but we had it mitigated prior to the sale. Now, I've had some people say, offer the buyer a credit. So a system could run from $1,300 to $2,000 depending. Why would you forestall a sale? Because that's gonna take 2 or 3 weeks to get a contractor to install the system. It has to be in for 2 or 3 weeks before you can get an accurate reading. And then there might be some other problem arise. So remove the doubt when you're trying to sell it. That was our plan.
And it was excellent,
Yeah.
because there was no concern, there was nothing environmental that could be worrying anybody.
Yeah.
That's my amazing homeowner.
She set the record on the sale time.